it takes courage to commit to see something through. Because to see something through, you are either going to watch it succeed or watch it fail. But that's so much more beautiful than never knowing. The most important thing, I think, is having these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Where we can honestly say, we're out of alignment right now. I'm worried now. I'm worried because I don't feel good. I'm not worried long term. I'm worried now because I'm uncomfortable now and I'm hurting now. The month of January, the shadow work of winter in itself asks you to sit in your darkness.
Yeah.
It asks you to acknowledge that everybody has shadows within themselves. Hey everybody, you're here with Jane.
And I'm Mark.
And today is January 14th. Today is the final day in week 2, the crossing. So rather than go through and summarize our past 2 weeks at the end of the month, we're actually just going to put together a quick little monthly preview of all the stories we had. We are almost halfway through January as a whole, so we're almost done with the month between worlds and the seeker crossing the veil. But for now, we are on day 14, January 14th, final day of the crossing. Today is all about the commitment, and our theme is vow renewal. So yesterday we had some doubt, and now today we are renewing our vows with the commitment. So our 4 stories come from Arthurian, Chinese, Zulu, and Persian folklore. So we will see you after these. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. The Knight's Oath. Before a knight ever lifted a sword, he knelt. In the Arthurian world, knighthood was not earned through battle alone. It began in silence, before witnesses, beneath a vow that could not be undone. The oath mattered more than the blade, because steel could be dropped. A vow followed a man everywhere. The young knight would approach the altar or the king's seat unarmed. His sword lay before him, untouched. He placed his hands together, palms open, signaling that he came not to take, but to bind himself. He vowed loyalty to his liege. He vowed defense of the helpless. He vowed truth in word and deed. He vowed to act even when fear argued otherwise. Once spoken, the oath could not be revised. Arthur's court understood something essential. Destiny requires consent. No knight was forced into service. Those who swore did so willingly, knowing the vow would demand sacrifice later. Many stories tell of knights who faltered. Some broke their oaths in moments of weakness. Others upheld them at terrible cost. Sir Gawain accepts a blow he knows may kill him. Sir Percival wanders in shame after failing to ask the right question. Even Lancelot, greatest of them all, is undone not by lack of skill, but by divided loyalty. The oath does not protect the knight from failure. It defines what failure means. Once committed, the knight's life is no longer guided by desire alone. Choice narrows. Freedom becomes focused. Every action is measured against the vow spoken at the beginning. To be a knight is not to be fearless. It is to act as if the vow matters more than fear. Arthurian legend insists that destiny is not revealed through prophecy, but through commitment. The path does not appear first. The vow does. Only after kneeling does the knight rise. Story 2. The Red Threads of Fate. Long before vows were spoken aloud, fate was believed to bind people quietly. In Chinese tradition, every person is born with an invisible red thread tied around their ankle or finger. This thread stretches across time and distance, connecting them to those they are destined to meet. It may tangle, it may stretch thin, but it never breaks. The keeper of this thread is Yualao, the old man of the moon. Yualao does not ask permission before tying the thread. But destiny, the stories insist, still requires recognition. The thread ensures connection, not fulfillment. That part must be chosen. One ancient tale tells of a young man traveling at night who encounters an old man reading a book beneath the moon. The old man carries a sack of red cords. When the traveler asks what he reads, Yoaleo replies, "The Book of Marriages," pointing to a baby girl nearby. Yoaleo declares she is the man's future wife. Enraged at the idea, the traveler orders the child struck. She survives, marked by a scar. Years later, the man marries a woman of great grace and kindness. On their wedding night, he notices a scar on her forehead. When he asks its origin, she tells the story of being injured as a child by a stranger. The red thread had held. But the tale does not end in inevitability. Chinese folklore repeatedly emphasizes that while fate binds, commitment honors the bond. Lovers must choose to remain. Families must choose loyalty. Destiny without consent becomes suffering. The red thread does not pull people together forcibly. It waits. Even emperors were said to consult marriage astrologers, not to escape fate, but to align themselves with it properly. Timing mattered. Recognition mattered. Choice mattered. In these stories, commitment is not resistance to fate, nor surrender to it. It is cooperation. The thread may lead you to someone. Only commitment keeps you there. Story 3. The Warrior Bond. Among the Zulu, commitment is not declared lightly, and it is never private. A warrior did not belong to himself alone. For the moment he entered manhood, his life was braided into the lives of others. His strength, his courage, and his endurance were no longer personal traits. They were communal obligations. Before battle, warriors gathered in formation, shields aligned, feet planted in rhythm with the earth. They sang not to boast, but to bind themselves together. Each voice mattered. Each body counted. To step forward as a warrior meant accepting ukabaupa, to be bound. This bond was more than loyalty to a chief. It was a vow to stand firm even when fear rose, to protect the village even when survival tempted retreat, to hold the line even if no one was watching. The warrior's greatest shame was not defeat. It was breaking formation. Zulu oral tradition tells of warriors who survived battles only to be dishonored for abandoning their position. Their lives were spared, but their standing was not. Courage was measured not by survival, but by commitment to the collective vow. Young warriors were taught that strength without loyalty was dangerous. A man who fought only for himself was a threat to the whole. Commitment disciplined power. It gave it direction. This bond extended beyond war. Marriage, kingship, and leadership were all governed by visible acts of commitment witnessed by elders and ancestors. A vow spoken aloud carried spiritual weight. The ancestors listened. To break a vow was to fracture harmony between the living and the dead. Zulu belief did not romanticize commitment. It acknowledged its cost. To bind oneself meant surrendering certain freedoms. It meant choosing duty over impulse, responsibility over ease. But it also meant belonging. A warrior bound to others did not face the world alone. His identity was reinforced by those who stood beside him, shoulder to shoulder. Commitment in Zulu tradition was not about destiny arriving. It was about standing firm once destiny demanded an answer. Story 4. The Sacred Covenant. In ancient Persian belief, destiny was not imposed. It was agreed to. At the center of Zoroastrian cosmology stands the idea of Asha, the sacred order of truth, balance, and the right action that sustains the universe. To live in alignment with Asha was not automatic. It required an active, ongoing choice. Every human soul, the tradition teaches, enters the world having already made a covenant. This covenant is not written. It is remembered. The soul chooses to side with truth over falsehood, light over deception, order over chaos. This choice aligns the individual with the Uhura Mazda, the wise Lord, whose creation depends on conscious participation rather than obedience alone. Persian texts describe humanity as co-creators of the world's fate. Good does not triumph simply because it exists. It triumphs because people commit to it repeatedly, even when doing so invites hardship. To act in truth meant speaking honestly when silence would be safer. To act in truth meant choosing integrity when deception promised gain. To act in truth meant standing against corruption even when standing alone. The covenant was reaffirmed through ritual words and daily actions. Every good thought, every good word, every good deed strengthened the fabric of the world. Every broken commitment weakened it. Unlike vows sworn once and forgotten, the Persian covenant was lived continuously. Commitment was not a moment, it was a practice. The tradition does not pretend this choice is easy. Asha is constantly imposed by Druj, the force of deceit, disorder, and moral collapse. The human heart becomes a battlefield. Yet Persian mythology insists that neutrality is not possible. To refuse commitment is itself a choice, one that allows disorder to spread unchecked. In this worldview, destiny is not something revealed at the end of life. It is shaped by what one consistently chooses to uphold. The covenant does not promise reward. It promises responsibility. To commit to truth is to accept that your life matters to the fate of the world. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome back in. I hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. You're back with Folklore and Flourish, where we're going to look at those stories, get the deeper meaning behind them. So with the commitment, across cultures, destiny waits for consent. A knight kneels before rising, a thread binds but does not force. A warrior holds the line, and a soul chooses truth again and again. Each story reveals the same truth. Fate activates only when commitment is spoken and lived. As we were listening to those and as I was reading them, it felt like commitment was a sacrifice. Commitment was a practice. Commitment was courage. Commitment was truth at the end. That it does require sacrifice. To get anything that you truly, truly want in life, something has to be sacrificed. Mm-hmm. You brought up some King Arthur stuff.
Isn't that crazy?
When you walked in the door.
So I was talking about Arthurian stuff today when I got home. And last night, prior to me going to bed, I had sent some information to her about some Arthurian stuff. And lo and behold, that's what today's first story was. So I just thought the alignment of that was pretty special, pretty neat.
The idea of knights in general, but the Arthurian folklore is fun because it does talk about your loyalty to that brotherhood, that kingdom. And the knights, they were these wholesome, moral people. True. They're supposed to be like the ultimate protectors of the Holy Grail, seekers of it, maybe. They kneel before they rise. And they take that commitment. Their vow matters more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like fear, yeah, I am afraid, but it doesn't matter because that vow is more important.
Right. I liked that line. That was pretty beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that you were already on that path of King Arthur and the Knights. The Knight's Oath reflects a worldview where destiny is activated by choice. So the vow it's binding. Mm. It's a binding contract. You make that in front of others. You're not alone in that commitment either, or the responsibility that comes with it. Moving into the Chinese one, I really liked the red thread of fate.
That was a cool story.
It is always there, okay? But it's not forced upon, but it's there. Mm-hmm. Should you choose it.
Right.
And I think that the story with the man, and then he panics and injures that woman and stuff, but then he could have met her in the future and been like, nah, this isn't it,
Yeah.
But he didn't. And then later on, he was confronted with the fact that, yep, it was exactly as promised.
Yep. But what's crazy is from the other perspective, she didn't even realize. Mm-mm. Like it was just a random person that just got her whacked in the face for no reason. No good reason.
That was probably the reason that they ended up together, in the sense that there wasn't a reason. The stranger just injured her. And maybe that turned her into that kind-hearted person that
all of it needed to happen.
Yeah.
For sure, because how they described who he fell in love with, that, who he married. And then the fact that the way she described
that a stranger
hurt her. Not, I said I was going to marry the stranger and then he hurt me. It was, I got hurt by a stranger. Mm-hmm. I think that was more powerful that way.
And I purposely put practice with this one because at the end, when it says the thread may lead you to someone, but only commitment keeps you there. Mm. The thread will bring you, and it can bring you, but you must commit to that.
Yeah.
And I like that all of them are about it's a practice. You're living your commitment. So you're sacrificing and now you're practicing. And then with the red thread, it said that it binds connection. So the red thread binds connection, but it does not bind the outcome. The bond is there regardless, but commitment determines the meaning of the bond.
Okay.
So the bond is there regardless. Your commitment to it will determine the significance, the meaning of the red thread. Mm-hmm.
It's like, no matter what, you still get that choice.
But then we move on to the next one, and it's your commitment through courage. That's always been a tough thing when you watch like documentaries and what we assume or what we think happens, especially during war, having to protect with force and being afraid still. You know, because we see in those documentaries in history that people do abandon their posts. And you see how they're treated when they return home, when they're seen as a coward. I loved the ending when it says that it's not about destiny arriving, it's about standing firm when destiny arrived and it demanded answers. When it stands there and goes, prove it. That was another one, that the commitment was witnessed by the elders and the ancestors. So to speak your vow aloud held spiritual weight. You not only have the strength of yourself and the people with you now, but you have the strength of your ancestors, the commitment of your ancestors. You could say that's the thing for anything you could commit to. Like if you think about marriage, like you have to have courage to commit every day to that.
Mm-hmm.
And when people make mistakes, because everyone does. Mm-hmm. Everyone does make mistakes. And to have courage in standing with someone. Or having courage to, in a world where walking away is so easy, that you don't even have to go in person and ask for like separation. You can do it over the phone. Like you don't have to communicate with anyone. It is a lot harder to stand firm in staying with someone. You have to believe that both people have the same intention.
Yeah.
And that's why that communication is so important. And as I'm editing some of these episodes, I see like our communication gets better, but I also see areas where it could be better. Just fully listening, fully being present. Because it's easier to be present now when we're recording. There's not as many distractions on, but the mind's on.
Yeah.
Like I think we both do that.
Right.
But I just really noticed it lately is, wow, where am I going to? We're talking about really important things, both of us, but sometimes they're not aligned.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we weren't fully in sync. So that's something that I've noticed and I'm excited about as we go on. Mm-hmm. And we continue on this journey, because
it's good that it's not perfect, because then it just gives you something to work on, you know? And it's funny that you're saying that, because just not too long ago, I was zoned out. And I was like, bring it back. And then like a little while before you said that, but shortly before you said that, I was just bringing it back. And then you started talking about it. And I'm like, wow.
It is hard when we're looking at these stories and there are some that we relate to more and others that are a little bit harder or that won't hit until later.
Yeah.
May look back and go, oh, you know, that story, it reminds me of that story. Mm-hmm. But to look at this South African one, the Zulu one, and to know that your commitment takes courage to face down that doubt. Yeah. It takes courage to commit to see something through. Because to see something through, you are either going to watch it succeed or watch it fail. Mm-hmm. But that's so much more beautiful than never knowing. You know, and I think that's the story, is you would rather see it through to failure than to walk away never knowing. That's 100% what it is. Again, it's just a world where it's so easy to commit to things short term.
Right? Everything's short term. Well, like when you watch How Do You Go Viral, and then all these cool little edit things, right, that people are advertising to, hey, I can show you how to do this cool new AI tool that, oh, I just bought 15 more seconds of your time. I just bought 19 seconds of your time. And then they keep showing you new little things, which I caught, you know, because that is the world we live in. If it doesn't have something big and flashy, people are just, they're scrolling past it. And it could be the best thing for them
because we're entertained all the time.
All the time.
That is both our luxury and now a serious disadvantage.
Yeah, for sure.
And is it the same everywhere?
I don't know. I mean, truly, how they can show us whatever we want or whatever they want to show us. And unless we're getting something from outside a source that we know for sure, which you don't even know, like the internet that we get, they could have that all filtered too.
Right.
You know, you truly don't know unless you see it with your own true eyes.
Maybe that is the reason why we both struggle here, is because everyone was so keen on leaving their homes that everyone did leave their ancestors.
Yeah.
They left those deep roots. I mean, neither of our parents were from here.
No, my grandpa was first born in America. On my dad's side, like close to being overseas.
I think that's a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because this land, it wants to protect its people. It wants to protect its roots. Nobody lays down those deep roots. It's not so much about the land anymore, except the people that own like big pieces of land that have had that for generations and generations, but they have it because they stayed.
Yeah.
So it is more meaningful. The Zulu one, to stand firm, is to just stand in harmony with both your ancestors and your tribe now. Your community now, standing firm with still holding the line for everyone that's held the line before you too. The Persian one, the ending, to commit to truth, is to accept that your life matters to the fate of the world. Your vow is the truth. There are forces out there that will use your heart as the battlefield. It will be the ground of so many dreams that will die, and new dreams that will rise and die, and some will live a long life and others won't within you. And it's that voice, that light voice that whispers in the wind that says, what you do matters. What you do matters. How many people do you think believe that?
I don't know. I don't believe it's enough. You know, it needs to be a lot more for sure.
Do you think that that is still a belief system that a lot of people have? Or do you think people are scared to feel that way?
I think it can be both. But a large part, I definitely think people are scared to feel that. You know, just look at the way you feel and like, have you always been aligned with where you are, you know? When was that shift? What was that shift?
Continuous choices. That destiny requires consent continually, not just once. And that goes with a lot of the things that you've said. You're accepting more. You're more open to accepting the good things. And so if you accept that your life is a good thing and that it matters, then it does in turn become a good thing that matters.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Feel in my heart, yeah.
That makes me feel good. It is true. That's what you say, and that's what you have to do. And that vow out loud.
Yeah.
I vow to make my life matter. I vow to live my life as if it already does. And then you just commit to it, committing to happiness. But to commit to happiness, you have to feel the alternatives.
Of course.
What are your thoughts? You're kind of quiet the past couple podcasts. I just want to make sure we're doing all right.
Just some of the stories, like, it connects with me more and I want to talk more about it. And then there's some like today where it's not that I don't like the story. It's just for whatever reason, I don't have a whole lot of words on that, you know?
So I wonder if that's because, and I'm going to ask you, you can be vulnerable or you can choose not to, like it's up to you. Do you think that it's because of the topic itself today? The commitment? because you've said like in the past that you've experienced serious commitment with people that commitment didn't matter.
Maybe.
And so you have this kind of feeling of it doesn't mean anything.
To some,
certain commitments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've just noticed that that's been something you're still needs some tending to.
Proven correct time and time again. At some point you're like, okay.
Yeah, got it. And that's why I wonder if almost days like today, where you do take a step back, see what it is and what it means, and it feels that way for me. But commitment hurts when it's not a mutual commitment. I totally understand that, and I wasn't trying to be rude or anything.
No, I didn't feel that at all.
And the lesson is that destiny needs consent. These are things that were woven in time and took patience and practice, and they took day by days. This isn't something where you throw away your commitment for something that's big, shiny, new now. Mm-hmm. You know, we see so much, like we were just talking about. We are always entertained.
You gotta be.
So we're always constantly moving, that we don't tend to our own gardens per se. We were outside, like when we went on that walk the other day.
Yeah.
It just felt good to be back in the stillness.
I love being still. Like, I do this meditation thing. I'm sitting here doing it while we podcast, and it's something I just kind of with my head, like where I kind of center myself. Mm-hmm. But when I find moments, and I do it every single day, I'll take time, like if I can, even if it's just a short few minutes, like going to the restroom, honestly, sitting down in the morning, stop concentrating on that and like just take a breath. If that's the only time you truly have to sit down, make that moment count. You're doing something, but multitask, do something cool, take a breath, do a quick meditation. Seriously, I do it every time. Practically every time I sit down, I do it. And then while I'm at work, any moment I have a quiet moment that I know there's certain times of the day that is going to be quiet, typically, I make sure I meditate because I know I need it. The energy is just way different.
That's a great lead into the reflection. What am I choosing? What am I choosing to commit to every day? Because our actions every day are our commitments. That kind of just made me think of like my old job and how when I knew I didn't believe in it anymore.
Right.
And how it wasn't the place for me to be. How I was choosing to be miserable every time I went. Just being there and going in itself was miserable because it wasn't the right place.
Right. I was talking to a couple guys today, and like it just keeps making me think about it. While I wasn't there, my jaw didn't hurt. I wasn't doing that.
Right,
like
you mentioned that grinding.
Been like sore, and like I have to chew gum now a lot because I'm just constantly, and it's just that anxiety that it's just like pent up. And then it gets strong to where then I just get this rage inside, and I'm not even mad at anybody, but I feel like I could just explode. And that's probably something I should do. Just go yell, just scream. I've heard that actually there's some exercises where doing this crazy scream thing, it releases something. I think maybe I'm gonna look into that. Yeah. Because that might be pretty fun. I'll check back in and let you guys know how it went for me.
What am I choosing now?
I would say my peace. Why wouldn't we?
Choose our peace.
Yeah, and the way we're doing it. I would love to have
community of people
a large community. Yeah,
wavelength. If you live in a place where the whole idea of right and wrong is different than what you believe,
right?
Like at certain places, or that sense of not feeling like you can grow, and that when you stay in the town that you were raised in, and if it's a small town, some people refuse to see you as anything other than who you were.
What you were, yeah.
Our daily task is to Speak one commitment aloud today. Speak one commitment aloud today to acknowledge that destiny responds to consent. And we can go on from yesterday's, name one of the doubts you've been avoiding, to acknowledge what still needs tending, and then speak a commitment aloud today.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so important to do these daily tasks, because now that I've spoken my doubts,
yeah,
I can make a commitment to something. The last part is too that what you choose repeatedly becomes your path. So you can have all the feelings in the world that you have, but your choices are the stepping stones for your crossing.
Right.
So at the end of this week, so today, the end, we've crossed and now we've made a commitment. By the end of today, we will have made a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great, because as we've seen how transformation takes courage and sacrifice, and how to listen and to hear and to take guidance means changing who you once were. We're stepping into tomorrow, which is week 3, and we step into our death and rebirth. This isn't one of those year-long things where we make it all the way to October before we die and rise and start becoming who we're becoming. No, we're doing it right away. If you're here with us, you're here for a reason. And now we're about to acknowledge our commitment. And the very first step of commitment, like we heard today, is sacrifice. We're about to enter our death and rebirth. We've already crossed beyond the veil, made it through our awakening, and now we are there, out in the wind, out in the bare elements, and we're saying, I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be torn apart. I'm ready to fall and rise and be honorable like a knight, be courageous like the warriors.
Yeah.
I'm ready for my becoming. So break me so I can rise.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. Things aren't going to get a whole bunch easier.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just going to get more fun. And now we're starting our adventure of we're doing all of our own self-identity now. People are going to start coming into our lives. There's a difference between a mentor and lifelong companions that you see later on. We will also see guidance from people that may not feel like guidance. We're going to run into tricksters. We're going to run into people that want to sabotage you, but they don't want to harm you.
Right. Yeah. They're not doing it they're just testing you.
Yeah, and
they don't know they're doing it either.
We get to be tested in so many different ways and grow in so many different ways, but we have to let that old self die.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that we've crossed the bridge, we're here, we're working together, and it'll be interesting to see how that works with 2 people.
Yeah.
Because to break from my standpoint is going to be different than a break from yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that everyone watching this, it'd be good to be doing it with somebody.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the daily tasks and asking them random questions.
And feel free to post the daily things on these videos.
Yes.
Because
and tag the Blue Box 29 in there.
And tag us in it, and we would love to respond and interact with you. Because my thing is I've done some energy work videos, right? And while doing those, because a big thing is energy doesn't know what time is. So if I'm sending love, I could send love across time. And I could send guidance, and that's just like what your ancestor thing, where it comes into play. So I could send this support to somebody that might be watching this podcast in 5 years from now.
Right.
That needed help.
That's why we put just the month and the day.
Yeah.
is you could pick this up anytime, you know? And after this year, we're doing it this year. So whenever you watch it, this was our true experience through it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are days that are tougher than others.
And already, and it's, you know, we're halfway through the first month, but we're halfway through the first month. It's got its challenges, but it's worth it, you know?
Yeah, it's worth it to be able to have these discussions every day.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the forced, same routine discussion. Some days I'm seeing a new side of you. Some days we're not on the same wavelength. We weren't on great terms before bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went to work. And it was not great. Like, it wasn't a great way to end the night. It wasn't a great way to start the morning. And then I watched, like I was telling you earlier, I was watching our podcast from yesterday, and it was just so out of sync.
I was just blah. And you know what? I was thinking about it not too long ago. One of the times when I zoned out, probably, or maybe it was before that, you were like, how's your day today? I was thinking about it while we were sitting here. Why was my energy better? Well, I was around somebody that thinks kind of like I do, that has that same type of energy that I do. So when that person showed up today, that automatically brought me up. Because when I was first there, I was just, ugh, still in that suck. And then that person helped me bring my energy back up to where I was good. And then I was in that good state for the rest of the day. That's the big thing, how we were talking about, you know, getting that community, you know, being with and around the type of energies that are good for you or that you're meant to be around without restriction.
People with similar commitments.
Yeah, you are going to find it just so much easier to breathe. And it was nice, you know, it was almost relaxing.
Easy to get out of sync with your partner when you spend so many hours at work. For just everyone, that your partner should be the person you're the most in sync with. And I'll die on that hill. I've told you many times, I've talked with people. I believe your partner is your choice.
Yeah.
It will always be your partner. You can love your kids, you can love your parents, you can love your siblings, but your partner should be your number one. That's what my commitment is.
Yeah.
My partner is my number one. And you should be so in sync, and we are so in sync all the time, and we're apart for a while, and then we get angry because we're out of alignment.
Yeah.
Because we are all far away from our partners, distracted or whatever the case may be. And it's like a lot of people want space from their partner, even though they spend 9, 12 hours every day away from them. And they still want to break, and I just don't. I don't want that life at all, you know. And so the past couple of days, like I've been feeling that little bit of struggle of our energies. And it's just like when we talk about how these stories come into alignment of just that doubt of not doubt in your person, but doubt in, are we going to be okay? Because we're both not feeling okay. So right. Are we going to be?
Yeah, of course. They're just moments. It's a choice if you want to be okay. I choose to be.
Right.
Just embrace the suck, and then it'll be beneficial afterwards. You just got to find why am I feeling this way? What is causing me to feel this?
I told you that's what I do. That's what I always
do.
And
I love that about you. And this is just kind of a thing for people outside of this conversation.
Yeah.
Because like there's a reason you're feeling it. Like, did someone cause it? Yeah, maybe, but there's a reason you're feeling it. And that reason could be to make you do something or go somewhere. And then by just that simple action of going somewhere or doing something, your whole world just opened up and like, holy cow, it's like the string thing. You got to take that and the commitment and you're there.
You show up every day.
Now you need to show up and do it. You don't get it automatically.
Right. The most important thing, I think, is having these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Where we can honestly say, we're out of alignment right now. I'm worried now. I'm worried because I don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried long term. I'm worried now because I'm uncomfortable now and I'm hurting now
Mm-hmm.
because of that misalignment.
Right
yeah. And so it's like, I'm just worried that it will continue every second. You know, every passing second is what I'm worried about, not tomorrow. And to be able to say that to a partner, we both were very defensive at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're doubting, then why would you doubt this? You know, why would you doubt this? I'm not doubting this. And we both have been in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's not doubting this. I'm doubting like my ability to sit in this uncomfortable situation any longer today. You know, it's not even about I'm upset with you and I'm going to choose to be upset with you. I choose to not be a lot of the time. That's where you choose your partner over being right or over something that's insignificant, or even acknowledging that you're going to just not agree on everything. But I like that we're having these talks and we're going through all of this because with January being that darkness and being that let's start it all up, and then you know that February is all about love. Like, that's why I think it's good to talk to someone as you're doing these or watching these or even just journaling, like talking with yourself, because I feel like it's just going to help us grow even more.
Yeah.
And so if you guys engage with us, not every day is going to be great, like we said.
Right.
Past couple days, past couple weeks, you know.
It'll be interesting to look back on this and be like, wow, look at the transition throughout the year. Because I'm sure it'll be great. And it's going to be super cool because we're going to have a picture of ourselves every single day of the year. And who knows? I got a curly mustache today. You know, I was bored. I got out of the shower. I took a shower. I rinsed the suck off myself after work. And while I was in the shower, I was like, I'm like spreading love on myself. Right. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get out of the shower with the same energy that I got into the shower. And then I just let the water run over me. And that's what I told myself is that I will not leave this. Cleansing. Yeah, that's I will not leave this room with the same energy. And with where I work, there's a lot of negative energies. That's kind of a big deal. And you might not think where you're at, there's a lot of negative energy, but you get feeling certain ways. And it couldn't be like, maybe negative is the wrong word. The word maybe is just not aligned with your energy, the way you're feeling. There's something that's misaligned. So just rinse it off. You know, sometimes it's as easy as that. Is just be like, whatever energy doesn't align with me, I need to release it and allow it to release.
And it starts with acknowledging it. That is a lot of where talking with you, I feel like I'm getting better at, because I do get upset with certain things, and by acknowledging what it is and then acknowledging your intent, like how I told you, intentions don't mean a whole bunch to me. It's like actions mean more. Yeah. But then I look at your stuff of that was something he doesn't even realize. Like, because there'll be things that I'm like, this upset me. And you're like, I didn't even realize I did that.
Yeah.
And so I've been taking more looks at that and noticing that, yeah, there are just some things we don't think about.
Yeah, there's sometimes I'm like, dirt to dirt.
But then I laugh because then it's what, a minute or like even 30 seconds later that one of us will just like feel the energies off. What do they need from me? And then we just go do it. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that. And I mean, you don't get that without the honesty. The fact that when we do get angry, it's not destructive.
Yeah.
When we do get sad, like sometimes we walk away and we're like that prideful little part of us.
It's pretty cool to be like, yeah, but on one hand, I can say how many times I've been upset, you know, truly.
Right.
And it doesn't even really have much to do with you or anything. It's just my energy's been bleh. And I'll be honest, it has crap the last couple months, but it's because I know I'm not where I need to be, you know? and
you
my
have to
body, my
remember-
energy, and everything knows it's not where it needs to be. But
and the energy of the season.
yeah, and
you
it's
have
that
to
low.
keep that in mind.
So it's like trying to bring that up, and believe me when I say I am a very positive person. If you don't know who I am, I speak it. If I hear negative from other people, I try to turn the word without being rude about it. Just playing it to me, it's like a game. To just how positive can I be about something without even like thinking about it? It's just that's what I do.
And
that's
I think
who
that's
I am.
really why you're struggling
Yeah.
with this month in particular. This kind of struggle isn't I'm not passing. This kind of struggle is I'm uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you are, because this month, the month of January, the shadow work of winter in itself asks you to sit in your darkness.
Yeah.
It asks you to acknowledge
Mm-hmm. that
everybody has shadows within themselves. When you are a super highly positive person and you are a sun element. I mean, we're both Leos, but you really embody the full cosmic power of that sun element. And I mean that as in you love the heat. You know, you love places that are warmer, but you like to be cool, you know?
Yeah.
I like the cooler places, but I like to be wrapped up. Like I like the compression. You are way more open. So when we're in these months where you know that you're being called to something, so you know that you're the seeker. I mean, when we met, we both knew that something was calling us. We just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So when you know that you're the seeker and you thrive on the heat and the warmth, your own positivity, and then the actual weather, and you're stuck in a place where you have to be uncomfortable and address your uncomfortability. And you have to go days where no, today is about your doubt. And you're going to sit in your doubt. And you're going to embrace your doubt. Like you said, it makes you a better person because you chose to let it, but it's uncomfortable. It sucks to be in. And I think I hope that it gets easier. And I hope that it is easier for you to do that with me. But I know a lot of men in particular, and a lot of females that have always had to almost take on that man responsibility of like the breadwinners of this or this. They have a harder time with this kind of stuff because you are vulnerable and you are out there to the elements and you're doing the work. And by doing the work, you are risking getting damaged along the way because you're sitting there bare. Yeah, you're vulnerable. They say it's vulnerability because you do have chances of being harmed. And you probably will. And so I just think it's important to acknowledge that it is hard for you, you know? And I need to acknowledge that. Like I do have all day to look at the topic and prepare myself. And as someone that's always had my emotions on my sleeve, it's easier. But then you're coming home with all this stuff, you know, these responsibilities, and are told, allow yourself to fall, allow yourself to doubt. And you've been holding together your belief all day. That's hard. And it's okay to lip quiver. That's all that we have for today. Tomorrow is, we're starting off the death with the fall. Failure. Some of the sadder, darker stories in folklore you can't come back from. There is no option but to sit there and rise and move forward. But tomorrow we are at the fall. It's going to be 1 week that's a little bit heavier. But you don't get so much breath, but you get a lot more reward. And then we're going to start coming out. And then before we know it, January will be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have one more month of winter before we get into the earth starts waking back up.
Right.
And it goes, what foundation did you lay when you were uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Because destiny needs your consent. And during these months, these cold, dark months, it's listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all just a test. What do you need? And what are you wanting? And what are you willing to do when you're uncomfortable? Because I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be ready. But don't waste this opportunity, this stillness. So we get to start that tomorrow. I'm personally excited to be done with January, but that's just because I know that there's stuff coming that's just going to be tough.
Yeah.
So we're going to embrace the suck, so to speak, and we will be back tomorrow. I'm going to actually give the question to Mark before you start your day so we can come back and we're going to start our stripping of identity by acknowledgement right away. And so I'm excited for that. And thank you for joining us today at Folklore and Flourish.
Yeah.
Where we look at all these old stories and connect it to all of our new age lives. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.